Hi, this is Maurizio from Invictus, Cataclysm, and Exdeo. Name them all. You're listening to CMS. All the best.
Chris Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin, and today we are presenting some heaviness, and I'm always up for that. I know I interview a lot of hair metal bands, and that's cool too, but I like when it's just vicious, and this is definitely just vicious. Brand new band called Semi Rotted. Is it Semi or Semi, Jeremy?
Semi.
Semi Rotted.
Yeah.
It is a punch in the gut followed by a sledgehammer to the face. It is just vicious metal. It has my all-time favorite drummer, Tim Yeung, on it. So it is just fantastic band. And here to talk all about it is this guy right here from Semi Rotted. It is Jeremy Spencer. Jeremy, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. How's it going?
Good, man. Well, dude, I'm going to start, before we even get into Semi Rotted, I want to get into what happened with Psycho Sinner. I think you're the only guy in the world that released 100 songs in a year and then just said, okay, I'm moving on, you know?
Yeah.
So let's start there, man. What was it that made you decide to go in this new direction?
Well, I had been a fan of heavy music my whole life, and certainly the death metal stuff in the 90s was something I was really into. So as of late, my wife and I had been kind of like getting a lot of new vinyl, and we would listen to it every morning while we're drinking coffee. And I'm like, fuck, I miss this music, man. I miss heavy. I want to do a heavy record. I don't even know what it's going to sound like. I don't know what the fuck it's going to be, but I know I want to do something that's heavier. So Semi Rotted is kind of just what came out, you know, but I just been on this death metal and extreme metal kick, and it kind of brought back some nostalgic feelings for me. And I'm like, shit, I miss this, man. I want to do something heavy.
Right on, man. Well, it's definitely heavy. There's no question about that. So let's get into Semi Rotted. You know, you got the idea, obviously, and you wanted to do it. It's one thing to want to do it. It's another thing to put together a straight up all-star band in order to do it, which you've done. So talk a little bit about bringing the band together and who you got in the band.
Well, we have Sean McGee on guitar. He's a producer. He and I we do most of the writing. So that's he and I that kind of started this thing. But when it was time to get the drum position filled, I was like, man, there's one guy I know that's a motherfucker, and I'm gonna reach out to him. I know he's not gonna do it. He was in Morbid Angel, he was in Vital Remains, Divine Heresy. He's probably busy and he probably doesn't give a fuck about my new band. But I reached out, and he's like, dude, I really dig the material. Fuck, I'm in. I'll do it. And I couldn't believe it, but he came on board, and then we flew him out and from LA, and he recorded 2 albums worth of material like in about 4 days, 3 or 4 days. So he was really focused and on it, man. It was really cool. And we have AP from Gemini Syndrome on bass, who's a monster bass player and a fucking wicked looking dude too on top of it.
Right. Nice. Let me go back to Tim for a second. You know, I mean, he's to me, he's the best drummer in anything right now. He's so talented, and that's no offense to you, that's no offense to anybody, but he's just otherworldly. You know, there's that class of guys, him, Gene Hoglan. There's a very small number of guys as good as him. How in the world did you get lucky enough that he was available to do it. Forgetting wanting to, just available, because he's pretty in demand.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, he really wasn't doing a whole lot at the moment. I caught him in just the right time, because who knows, any second's a phone call away from, hey, dude, come do this tour, and then he's gone, you know?
Right.
So, but we got lucky. We reached out, and he was available and into it. So that's a great thing, man.
Right on. No question, man. Well, dude, when you reached out to all these guys, did you already have music written, or did you write together as a group and kind of find your connection as a band? I mean, how did the music that you started creating come together?
It was Sean and I mainly. Sean McGee and I. We did most of the writing on these first two records. Going forward, we're not sure how it'll be. It could be a whole collaborative effort, group effort. But right now, Sean and I kind of did the writing on these albums.
Okay, excellent. Now, dude, you know this. You're a metal fan. Death metal fans are about the most territorial as anybody.
Yeah.
You know, I'll point to Dez from Devil Driver to be the similar comparison to you, you know, with obviously the Five Finger background. But I remember when Dez launched Devil Driver, and he had a bitch of a time with the fans. You know, the fans were just like, we don't want that guy from Cold Chamber in here. You know, they didn't want nothing to do with that. And It took them, and then there was, I don't know if you even remember this, but then they had the thing with Cataclysm, a true death metal band, and they had like a rubbing of a rub up on each other, which I think actually entered them into being accepted, because then people listened to the music looking to shit on it, and then it was good, and they didn't. Right. But for you, I know you don't worry about that stuff because you've taken more heat than probably anybody should, you know. But what have you experienced so far, and what do you anticipate from death metal fans that will come in at first and be like, nope, don't want it. That was a pop metal band that I don't want to be part of.
Sure. Yeah. You know, that just goes with it. But people, all they have to do is hear it. And then I think they'll ease up and go, okay, it belongs, you know, but I get it. You don't want somebody that was in some kind of outside big band that's not your genre to come in here and try to take over your genre. I'm not trying to take over anything. I'm just trying to make a record that I wanted to listen to, that I liked. And it sounds like some of the stuff that's familiar from the past from some of these genres. So that's all I'm trying to do, is just make a wicked record and have fun, man.
Right. Now you gave people the first taste of this earlier in the year with the EP with Deader Than Dead.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I like about it the most, and then you tell me if that's what you were going for. I like that it's very much not this new age death metal. It's not deathcore. It's not, you know, death with groove filled through it. So, I mean, it's traditional death metal, which mostly. I'm lyrically, for sure. It's all death metal lyrically. Musically, there's some elements of extreme, elements of groove, elements of death metal. So that's where the rub will be weird. Like, what the fuck is this mixture stuff? But I don't give a fuck. I like good music or bad music, whatever. It's just whatever you're into. Right on. Now, how did people, when they heard it the first time, did they immediately go to it and just judge it as a new band, or did they judge it as, well, it's Jeremy Spencer, and now let's listen to it?
It was both. It was a little bit of both. People are discovering it on their own, and some are discovering it because of who, you know, I was being in Death Punch and stuff like that.
Right on. And dude, I'm always fascinated by you specifically. How do you push that hate away? Do you just not look at it? Because I mean, you take a beating online. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
And it's not fair, because it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, and I'll just say it, and you can agree or disagree, but what did you do that was so wrong? You were in a band that got popular. It's not like Five Finger Death Punch was this huge band that you joined. Yeah. It wasn't. It was a band that you were in that got popular. And for you to take such heat just seems crappy to me.
It's just part of the territory. If something's forced down your throat enough, you're going to have a reaction against it. And that's kind of what happened with Death Punch. It was so popular and it was so everywhere all the time that people were like, fuck this band, man. I get it. You know, I get that. I understand. But, and then, you know, me just experimenting, doing my other projects, some theatrical, whatever. It's easy to go, fuck this guy, you know, what's he trying to do? I don't understand it, or it sucks, or it's just shit. And it's just part of the deal, man. You just have to roll with it.
Right on, man. Well, dude, obviously, you have put music out there, and like we said, Deader Than Dead, the EP is available on all the streaming services. Is it only available, the EP? Is it only available on streaming, or is there a physical that people can buy?
You can go to semirotted.com and buy the physical.
Okay, then do that, people. Don't just stream it, because that makes nothing for anybody, right?
That's for sure. Yeah, it's a little tough, man. That's for sure.
Nice. Well, dude, one of the songs I wanted to feature here to kind of give people a taste was Shotgun Symphony. It's a great tune. Tell us a little bit about this one.
This was actually the first song that we wrote.
Okay.
So it's got a certain energy that I really like, and to me, it's kind of like the appropriate way to kick things off. It's a good album opener, be a good live opener, but to me, it just fucking the energy is pretty infectious, and it's an up-tempo burner.
Right on. Well, let's check it out right now. It is Shotgun Symphony. It is Semi-Rotted right here on Chris Akin Presents.
Life is worthless and needs to end right now. Let's go out with the pain. Nothing good to tell you how. Get the gun, load it up, pull the trigger, please play all around. Get the gun, load it up and blast yourself and recognize what you have found. Cock the pump and shoot it. Shotgun Symphony, what a lovely sound. Shotgun Symphony, with your lifeless body hits the ground. The gun didn't do its job, so it's time to reload. Your mental head can't see your brains all over the roads.
Right back here on Chris Akin Presents. It's Chris Akin with Jeremy Spencer of Semi-Rotted. New song that is out there now, which we will get to at the close of this, called Bloodbath, which has a story all by itself to it. We just heard Shotgun Symphony. Great song. The one song I did want to ask you about was what's it called? Hammer Teeth?
Yeah, Hammer Teeth.
That is my favorite song on this, 6 or 7 songs that you've given us so far. That to me is kind of the kind of song that I think would probably lend people that like heavy music into this band. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Hammer Teeth. Shawnee come up with the riff, and I was like, dude, that's cool. I'm hearing a hook. And I wanted some kind of a sound effect. So we used this kind of like hammer hitting on some kind of glass breaking or something. I forgot the name of the effect, but we used that in the chorus. And I was like, hit. It's got to be hit. It's got to be something with the word hit. So then that's kind of how Hammer Teeth this came from it. But because I just try to write the most fucked lyrics that you can write for the moment, you know?
Right on, man. Now, dude, with death metal, the themes are always brutal. Where does it come from you? Are you a big horror guy, or?
Yeah, I'm a big horror fan, but I'm always looking for titles. If I see a title, I'm like, I could write something interesting with that title. And that's how it starts. I'm always looking for titles. Okay,
excellent. And then, I mean, do you write lyrically? Once you get a title, then where do you go? Do you go and say, well, this part in Saw 5 was cool, let me write about this, or, know?
No, I mean, I'll sit there and think about the most fucked scenario I can. I don't know where it comes from exactly, but, you're just trying to outdo yourself with craziness each time, and there's really no rules, so it's kind of fun,
Right. I'm going to ask, and please tell me no or yes on this one. Do you watch serial killer like documentaries to just kind of hear kind of some of the fucked up things that some of these guys are doing, and then say, well, maybe I could scribble something about that?
No, but it's not a bad idea. Maybe I should start doing that to some extra help. Yeah.
Well, there's tons of that out there. Believe it, as a I call it murder porn, and as a murder porn guy, there's tons of it out there. And wow, there's some stuff going on out there you just can't even. There's stuff going on out there that you can't even believe is happening in the real world.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Nice. Well, dude, let's talk a little bit more about the new single. Let's talk about Bloodbath. The obvious talking point, I guess, is that you got Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse. He stepped in and worked with you on it. were you friends with him, or did you just kind of hear where you wanted and you heard his voice? I mean, how does he come into this?
We had finished the song and I was like, man, how cool would it be if we could get Corpse Grinder to do a guest vocal spot on here? So
Sure.
the cool thing is that we have the same management.
Okay.
So I was like, do you think you could reach out to George and see if he'd be interested in even considering doing this? And lo and behold, man, the dude did it in like 2 days and sent it back, and it was amazing.
Nice. That's cool, man. Do you have more guests on some of the other songs that you're working on?
Yeah, we have a song called Torture Congregation that's also on that EP, and it features Will Ramos from Lorna Shore. Yeah.
Very cool, man. Now, what I read about you, about Semi-Rotted right now, and this is nothing new for you, but I read that you're working on about 25 songs, which most other bands might work on 10, but there's you who puts out 100 in a year. Yeah. So, 25 is not crazy for you. But working in a new style, I would think maybe that's a little bit more difficult, because when you're trying to establish something new, maybe you're trying not to repeat yourself at all. So talk a little bit about writing so much in a new style for you. Is it difficult, or is it just ideas and you keep them, or what?
Yeah, I prefer it. I just like, we made the first record and then we just keep going. We were like, let's keep creating. So we just started writing a new batch of songs, and it ended up being enough for 2 records. So that's really what we have, is 2 albums essentially.
Okay. Are they already done, or are they?
Yeah, they're done.
Oh, wow. Typical Jeremy Spencer way. They're done. They're just You're not going to release them all at the same minute, are you?
No, not this time. That was just an experiment, that I wanted to try, and it was what it was, but I did release a lot of music.
Right. Yeah, you definitely. I don't want to go into that a whole bunch, but I will say this as a fan of yours, and I'll point to you and Lordy, another band that I'm a fan of that did sort of I think Lordy did like 14 albums or something, and you did what, 10?
They did 7 and we did 9.
Yeah, it was some crazy numbers like that. Yeah. I will say that even as a fan, it was definitely hard to ingest all of it. It was hard to say, okay, I like this or I don't like that. It was just kind of like, wow, this is a lot of, it's like buying a box set. It's, it literally was like buying a box set, but of all new material with no songs that you knew. Very difficult. In hindsight, do you wish you would have parsed it out, or even released it every 6 months or something like that? Or
I don't think so, because I've done it the traditional way. I wanted to do something that was so outlandish. Obviously, with the project, it was fucking outlandish. So everything about it was outlandish, and it was just like, let's just keep writing. It was during the pandemic, so there was nothing happening. So
right.
But then it was just like, well, what the fuck are we gonna do with it? Let's just put it all out at once. So that's what I did.
Right. All right. So let's get to the obvious, man. You have a new band. You have a great new band. You have great new songs. People are going to want to see it.
Yep.
It's also the most difficult time, I think, ever for touring right now, with the costs of fuel, the costs of buses, the costs of hotels, not as many places to play. Where are you at with touring plans and trying to get all of that sorted out so that you can take it out there?
Yeah, we're talking about doing something maybe regionally first, something a little smaller, and build it outward that way. But you got to start somewhere. But like you said, the costs are pretty high, and it's a little different than it was before. So we have to do it strategically. We're definitely planning on trying to figure out how and when we're getting out, what tour would make the most sense, stuff like that. You kind of are at the mercy of what's available for starters, because there's so many bands trying to take up all the slots, right?
Right.
So we'll see how it goes, but we definitely plan on getting out there. It's I just don't have any confirmed dates or times yet.
Sure.
Because it's in the works.
If you had your way, would you do festivals where you can reach a lot of people at once, but because you're new, you might have to play at 2:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Or would you do a smaller run, but it'll be people that, are fans of you, are fans of Tim, or fans of Gemini Syndrome? You would get more of an actual engaged fan base if you did shows that are your own, I guess.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean, we hope to do both. playing festivals are amazing because you can reach a lot of people at once. But those little intimate shows and little dive bars, man, those are serious energy exchanges, man. Those are great fucking shows.
Absolutely.
So if we have to be the door opening band at 6:30 for a band, that's fine. We plan on earning our stripes just like the next band.
Right on. Well, yes and no, because I mean, your background is going to get you in the door a little bit, don't you think? I mean, you don't have to. You're not going to be playing at noon on the Incarnation next year or whatever.
You really don't know, man, because there's so many bands. It's just really tough. But ultimately we'll play wherever people will have us. So
Right.
if that's 12 o'clock in a parking lot somewhere in Texas, great, let's do it.
Right on. I hear you, man. Well, all right, man. Well, let's wrap this one up with the Bloodbath video. It's a great tune. Like we said, Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse is featured on it. What can you tell us about the video itself?
McKinta Silver is the video creator. He's done a couple for us now, but he's just really great animator that's fucking got a sick mind and is perfect for what we're looking for. And he nailed it. I think it's really fun, man. Really cool.
Let me ask you just real quick. Obviously, he over dramatizes the neck thing with Corpse Grinder, which is always a funny meme and whatever. But how does he take that joke? Does he take it in stride?
He was like, dude, this is awesome. Thanks for letting me be a part of it. He was totally cool with it. Yeah, totally cool guy.
That's cool, man. Well, all right, man. Well, let's wrap this one up. The band is Semi-Rotted. The new song is Bloodbath. It is out there on the streaming services, and you can also get the EP Deader Than Dead, which is also on the streaming services. I'm going to say it again. It's fine if you stream it, but go make sure you buy it. And Jeremy, where should we send them to go buy it?
Go to semirotted.com. There's links there for everything, all of our socials and where you can buy the EP.
Okay, does that have the dash in it or not?
No dash.
No dash. Okay, good. So semirotted.com. Go out there, buy something, people. Buy. Don't just stream. Streaming is lazy. So buy it. And right now we are going to wrap it up with the new video for Bloodbath. And Jeremy, thanks so much for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Drowning in your